What up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and I am here today with the review for Power Book 2 Ghost Season 3, you guys. Episode number 8, and this episode is titled Sacrifice. Did I say episode 8? If I didn't say 8, it's 8, right? So we got 2 episodes left of the season, you guys, and this season is dwindling down to be this episode right here was a really good episode. Dare I say it might be one of the best of this series right here, Ghost. Nothing tops the episode where Diana did the draw 4 on us at the dinner table. But yeah, this was a pretty good episode, you guys. So before we get into it, if you guys are watching this video or any other on the channel and you guys aren't subscribed yet, do me a solid favor, you guys, and stop taking me out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know the routine. You can do that by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turning on your post notifications, and also by sharing the video, you guys. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let's go ahead and discuss Power Book 3 Ghost, shall we? Because I had to stop real quick because I was like, I hear a loud noise, but I forget I'm washing, and my washing machine is in the spin cycle currently. So where do we want to start up with this episode, you guys? Because this episode, it was a lot of twists and turns. So I don't necessarily, because you guys know, normally I start up with the prosecution, but even in that was good, right? So I think we will start up with talking about Tariq and the situation with him, Brayden, RSJ, and Lucas and all of them, right? So we'll start there and then we'll work our way back around. So let's get into it. So this episode, we see as Brayden was at home, right? So Kiki came by the house looking for Brayden because she and Lucas were worried about Brayden and what he has done, right? So she tells him that, basically Monet has been calling all morning and she wants to have a meeting with Lucas. And so Brayden was like, well, she wants basically Monet wants her money back, right? So she told Brayden, get yourself ready. You're going to go handle your client. I was like, ooh, you little B.I. B.I. Kiki can go. So Kiki can go for me, Lucas can go for me, and there's some other people that I think can go. But y'all know the other people who I really could say can go, right? But yeah, basically they just want Brayden to keep up this front that not RSJ, but Westing Holdings is legit at this point, right? And they want him to go and work his magic with Monet Tejada. I was like, little girl, go and Google that family, and you tell me how it's going to end up for you. So we see them at Westing Holdings, and Tariq saw Brayden. He's like, hey, B, I've been calling you. And so Brayden basically, Tariq told him that there's a RICO investigation. He said, like, YSL? I was like, not YSL. He said, yeah, right. So, Tariq told him that they basically got to dead the caps for a little while, right? And then Brayden tells Tariq that he found out that Westing Holdings is a Ponzi scheme. And Tariq was like, but my trust fund is in that. And he said, yeah, and Tejada's money is too. So basically they are talking about how fucked they are because of the fact that at this point Monet wants her money back and ain't no money to get back. And with a bitch like Monet, I wouldn't, y'all know how I feel about Monet at this point. Y'all know I don't like Monet. I can't stand Monet. Monet and her son Drew can both go at this point. Honestly, I can deal without Monet and I can deal without Drew, right? So then we see Rashad and his opponent. So Rashad and his opponent, they were over at Stansfield and they were doing a debate. So at one point in the debate, the moderator asked them the question of, the topic was about the rising crime rates, right? And crime rates. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about crime a little bit more in Hot Topics this week. I'm gonna do a Hot Topics for this past week that we just wrapped up, but we got a lot of stuff that I don't want to talk about. So some of the stuff that happened, which if you guys are watching this, the events that happened yesterday here in Texas, I'll talk about that next week. I won't talk about it in this week's Hot Topics. We'll talk about it next week. The crime rate is just going really, really high, and like I said, we'll talk about it. So they also Tate is also still taking credit for that drug bust, right? And his opponent was like, yeah, he's just using that as basically political fodder, which absolutely is 100% true, right? So then after the debate, we see Harper. So Harper told Tate that she saw him having a conversation with Lucas, right? And she told him, your opponent, I think her name was ACH or something like that, AH something, kind of a play on AOC, right? So she told him she was right, that you would be, if you do work with these people, you'll be beholden to them. And so he says, basically once he gets the job, he's going to quit them and he's going to try to get, free healthcare for people. I'm like, I believe a certain president tried to, make affordable healthcare, but that other side, they didn't want to go for it. But neither here nor there, right? So Tate also asked Harper to marry him, and she says this again. So basically, what it is, she knows what his agenda is. That this is really just for his political aspirations. It would look good for him to have a wife. And you guys remember Stephen Ott had told him that last season, or was it this season? So next up, we see Tariq. So Tariq was there, and RSJ was like, "I didn't see you here," and Tariq was like, he got some other things that he's dealing with, right? So then Tariq told RSJ that with Westing Holdings, it is basic, it's a Ponzi scheme. And RSJ was looking at him like, you little nigga, you came to me, wanted me to get in on this. And he was like, when did you find out? Tariq was like, I just recently found out, so I haven't known for too long. He said, okay, well, let's go to the SEC. And Tariq said, if you go to the SEC, you're not getting anything back. And so he said, so I'm fucked, basically, right? So Tariq says, you're not the only person that's fucked in this situation. So basically what Tariq, I keep saying basically, I know that, right? So you don't have to say it. Tariq wants for RSJ to, in a sense, blackmail the fuck out of Lucas. And that's what we do see. So we see Tariq, we see Brayden, and we see RSJ. So they're talking to Lucas. And RSJ told Lucas, like, so here's the rundown, my little spoiled milk. If you do what we say, we won't go to the SEC. And he was like, but that my nephew's selling drugs. Tomatoes, bitch. We want our money back. I want my money back. We want Tariq's inheritance back, and we want the Tejada's money back. Brayden had to mention that. Also, remember what we talked about, the Tejada's money. So, Lucas knows at this point that he is pretty much raked over the coals and he has nothing, right? So he says, even if I did want to pay these people, pay you back your money, I don't have it. So RJ said, oh, don't worry about that, little motherfucker. I got a plan for that one. And so it's basically a repayment plan. So then we see Harper. So Harper found Tate. She told Tate that she had an interesting conversation with Bruchandria, who told her that Tate ended up meeting with Lucas, even though he told her he wasn't going to meet with Lucas. So he said, yes, I did meet with Lucas. And I took a donation from him. And she's like, you have to give that back. He said, yeah, babe, ain't no way I'm giving that back. I don't like to lose. And I was like, Tate, you don't like to lose, but you're about to lose the woman that you wanted to be with behind these political aspirations. Tate is slippery, slimy, and grimy as F-U-C-K. But that's really all I got for this scene. So let's pause here, you guys, and go ahead and move forward, you guys. All right, you guys. So I think I'm going to go ahead and now talk about the prosecution. So the episode opens and we see Davis. So Davis is on some building and he is drunk as hell. So he's meeting up with Saxe. And, he's in his feelings about the fact that Theo doesn't want anything to do with him at this point, right? He won't take his phone calls. So Theo wants to be left alone, basically, by his brother. And I'm like, okay. So they're drinking on, like I said, they're drinking on this roof. So Davis then got a phone call, and he says to the person that he's on the phone with, I'll take care of it. So we find out that Davis was actually talking to Monet, and he's talking to Monet about this situation with Diana. So Saxe told Davis, well, you ain't in no good condition to go down to the police station. You are drunk as fuck. And, Davis was like, well, I got about 20 blocks till I get there. I'll sober up by then, right? So Saxe was like, no. You don't worry about it. I'll go handle it. He says, if Monet finds out that I didn't handle this, she's going to have my balls. So, Saxe was like, I got you, right? So he's gonna go down to the police station to help Diana. So Davis thinks, right? So Tariq texts Davis saying we need to talk ASAP. So then we see Sax. So Sax got down to the police station, and Jenny was there, and she was like, "Sax, what are you doing here?" So he tells her that he's going to be there to, work with Diana on this case. She was like, "That is going to be unethical, and it's a big risk." I was like, "Wow, that is," and I actually thought about it after she said it. I was like, "Wait a minute, Sax is the CI that's helped build this RICO case against them, but he's going to go play legal counsel. That is highly unethical. That violates, that violates your oath that you take. That anything your client says you won't use against them, and you're literally going to go in here, like that could get you disbarred." But honestly, Sax should have been disbarred. I really feel like Sax should have been disbarred long before now. Like all the illegalities that he did in the original Power, Sax should not still even have a law license. Like, and somebody made mention to that last week in my comment section about all the things that they have done on this show, but that's neither here nor there, right? So Davis, he's back in his office and he's trying to sober up, right? So Tariq came in, and he told, so Tariq told Davis that basically Sax is the CI, and he found this out from Lauren, and so Davis was like, "Fuck!" So he was like, he's going down there to talk to Diana, and they were like, Tariq was like, "Oh shit!" And so Davis went to go get his gun, and Tariq was like, "My nigga, you cannot go down there and blast that motherfucker. That'll put eyes on us." And I was like, "Davis, you really got to think about this. Like, you really got to think about this," because he told him about the RICO case, and he I was like, now Davis, be smart. So what Davis is going to do is Davis is going to go down to the police precinct to kind of intercept Sax, right? So that's what happened. So we see as Davis did get down to the police station, and they were both talking to Diana. So Sax was like, "Everything you say to me, we'll keep it between." And Davis was like, "Nope, just talk to me," right? So at one point they were talking to her. She was telling them about they want Monet and they want they want her family. So Davis, he spilled his coffee onto Sax, and he had his notepad. So he slid a note over to Diana, and he was basically telling her to read it. So she opens up the note, and it said, it says to her with Sax, "Put it on Effie." And I was like, okay, so we finna blame Effie for all this stuff. I was like, interesting. Interesting. So at one point, Tariq had text Davis and told him that actually this is before Davis went into the police station. Tariq had went and talked to Monet them, right? So Tariq had told him that the Tejadas are briefed and that everything is on him. He was like, "Nigga, I got this shit," right? So after that, we see Diana, and she was talking to Sax, and so she was basically telling Sax everything so that he could run it back to Jenny and run it back to Blanca, right? So he took that information back to Jenny and Blanca. He says that Tariq has let Effie in, so he feels like if they follow Effie, she'll lead them to everything that they want, right? And I was like, "Are you sure about that? I don't know if you should trust that, but okay, go off." So Blanca says, "So where did you get your liens from?" He says, "I'm representing Diana." She says, "Are you out of your mind? That is privileged information that you got as her attorney." I was like, "Bitch, shut up." Like, y'all don't understand how much I can't stand Blanca, right? So he somehow he was able to convince us. He said, "Okay, so we'll put a tell on Ms. Morales." I was like, "Girl, if you just don't get off this TV screen and go to hell," right? So later we see Theo. So Theo came to the office to apologize to both Davis and to Sax, right? So Davis had a little bit of attitude and he was like, nigga, get out. And he was talking to Sax, right? So Sax left, and so Theo was like, y'all, let me put this out here on the forefront about Mr. Theo. Mr. Theo, oh, the fact that y'all really recast Red Man like that, I have a problem with it. And this man is just not believable at all, right? So Theo notices that something is off with Davis, and he's like, you're not really good at lying, my brother. So he told Theo that he just recently found out that Sax is a CI for the feds, that he's working with them. And he said, I think this could potentially hurt your release, right? Because Theo came in to tell them that these treatments that he's doing, they're really working for him, right? So he got a new lease on life. I was like, oh, congratulations. I want the original actor who played Theo back. We see as the feds are trailing Effie, and she leaves campus, so they fall in behind her. So she goes to a warehouse. She gets the boxes with the label on it for the coffee company, right? And I do want to point this out. I think somebody left this in my comments. I think it was in my comments, or it could have been Roxanne's or Ashley's. I don't remember whose comments I saw this in, if it was mine or theirs. But somebody definitely left a comment, and I thought about it, but I think it was my comments. I could be mistaken. It could be my comments. With these whole coffee cups, that guy only found, and I found out. I just recently found out watching Ashley and Rox last week that the new cop that we got, that is what is her name? Angela Valdez's nephew. I was like, oh, another one of them. Ixnay him. So when they found those coffee cups, that doesn't really it was my comments. The more I think about it, that doesn't lead you to anything. That's nothing. How many? I mean, when I go to Starbucks and I buy stuff, now granted it was up under the bottom, but I go to Starbucks, I buy stuff all the time, and you just throw shit into it. Like, that means absolutely nothing, but it's neither here nor there, right? So Jenny called Sax and she told him, you were right? So she says, are you ready for the blowback from this once it's revealed that you're in fact our CI? He was like, yeah. So we see as the feds followed Effie towards another warehouse where they think that the drugs are, right? And at this point, I put two and two together. I was like, they're tricking the feds. Because at first when I saw this, I was like, oh shit, Tariq them are setting Effie up. I thought they were setting Effie up, but I'm like, that would be stupid to set Effie up, because Effie is not the mastermind behind this. But I saw at this point in the episode, I figured out what they were doing, right? So Effie saw the feds pull up on her, and she took off running, right? So then when she took off running, they handcuffed her. They went in the warehouse. They cut open the bags, and I was like, those are actual coffee beans. I'm like, you can look at those and tell those are nothing but coffee beans, right? So then they had this white powdery substance that they tested. I'm like, y'all are stupid. You just found some coffee beans. I know you probably were expecting for the drugs to be encapsulated with the coffee beans. I was like, but if you didn't find that, why do you think that this white powdery substance is anything other than sugar? I knew that right off the bat. I'm like, this is sugar. I knew it was sugar when they cut up with them coffee beans, that bag of coffee beans. I'm like, y'all are the dumbest FBI agents, DEA agents I have ever saw in my life. But it is what it is, right? So Tariq was watching from a different location. So he texted Monet and told Monet, done. So then we see Jenny. So Jenny is with Sax, and she is pissed off about the fact that she feels like either he's working with Davis them, or they know that he was working with them. And it's the latter. They know that he's working with you. So she also told Sax that she can't offer him any protection. I was like, well, damn, bitch. Ooh, you and this man had been fucking for some time. Then he was your CI. And you just gonna leave him out to dry like that? Damn, Jenny, you a dirty bitch. You's a dirty ass bitch. So, Sax, he ended up leaving the precinct and he called Tariq and left a voicemail for Tariq. And I was like, oh, so Sax, you trying to do everything you can to stay around a little bit longer, because he told Tariq that he knows where Tasha and Yaz are. And he knows that that's Tariq's soft spot. He knows where Tasha and Yaz are, and if he dies, then that information dies right along with him. And I was like, ooh, blackmail, bribery. Okay. Trying to save your life, bartering. Like, let's call it what it really is, bartering. I got something you want in exchange for my life, right? So he gets in the car and he tells Tariq to call off his goons, right? And he get in that car, and who's in the back seat? Theo's in the back seat, and he got a gun to old Saxy. I was like, ooh. After all this time, it would be a sickly man that's about to end Sax's life. We've been wanting Sax gone since the original Power, and nobody could take him out but a sickly man. So I think. So we see Tariq. So Tariq also went back to the office to Davis to play Davis the recording of the voicemail that Sax left for him, right? And, Davis feels like, he's probably just using you to do, he's probably just playing mind games with you, right? I was like, now, when it comes down to the whole situation of Tasha, I don't think he's playing mind games. I think he was actually being sincere. Well, not sincere, but I think he was being honest about, I'm the only person that knows where Tasha. But that's not true. Don't Tamika know where? Tamika knows where they are, but Tamika wouldn't fuck with Tariq. She done with Tariq. So Tamika knows where she is. Right? Tamika knows where she is. Oh, poor Tariq. You ain't gonna never find your mama and sister. So Davis got a phone call about Theo. Come to find out, those treatments, he was lying. They ain't working. So Davis was like, when did you get that voicemail? He told him. He was like, oh, fuck. Because he put two and two together. He knows where Theo is, and he knows where Sax is, because he's the one that told Theo about Sax. So Davis and Tariq, they found Sax, all right, and they found Theo. So Theo told Davis, like, yeah, them treatments ain't working. That I only got a month to live. I was like, ooh, that's very bleak, but okay. But so they were begging and pleading with him, like, Theo, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And Theo did it. He shot Sax right through here. I was like, oh shit. I was like, damn, it took this long for us to get rid of Sax. And I do believe Sax is deceased. I was like, fuck. So then Theo took the gun and boom, unlived himself. I was like, oh wow, that was unexpected. I didn't see that one coming. Actually, yes, I did. Yes, I did. I saw it coming because so I was on Twitter the other day and I saw somebody put a still of Davis crying. I was like, Theo done ended his life, and I kind of figured that was gonna happen. I knew that was gonna happen. I saw that when the writings were on the wall with that one. The writings were on the wall that man was going to, unlive himself. But yeah, let's pause here, you guys, and go ahead and wrap up this good old episode. All right, you guys. So Monet. Remember, I told you guys earlier that she called Davis and she told Davis about Diana. So Monet is all about self. It's self-preservation when it comes to Monet. It's never about anybody else. It's always about Monet. Monet. So Monet is worried that she says, if it was you, Kane, and Drew, I wouldn't be worried about it. But it's Diana, and I ain't talked to the girl since Zeke died. I was like, well, whose fault is that, you bitch? Like, that is on you, that you have been a vindictive, mean-ass mother, not just to Diana. You treat Kane like shit too. And then Drew, I don't even know what to say about Drew. We'll talk about Drew when we get to Drew, right? So Drew was like, "Oh no, ma, Diana's hard, Diana's strong. You ain't got to worry about it." I was like, I wish and hope and pray that Diana sell this old crusty bitch up the creek. So Diana was with Jenny and Blanca, so she was like, I think y'all probably got a call from Salim, who's mad at me because I broke up with him. Now I did see last week that people were like, maybe Salim is the reason that Diana got, roped into this. I'm like, nah, y'all. Remember, Lauren told them about the secret stash that was on the roof. That's why they put the cameras up there. This was because of Lauren, not because of Salim. Not because of Salim. So they showed her the photos, and she says, and they were like, this could be 9 years for you. She was like, I don't have a record, so I'm looking at, some community service and probation at the best, right? And they were like, oh, no, girlfriend, depending on the judge. But I was like, again, all this that y'all have is circumstantial. Y'all don't have the drugs from the roof. Like, what do y'all have? Like, absolutely nothing. This Rico case was dead before it even it should have been dead before it even started, to be quite honest with you guys, right? And they say, oh, we have a lot more than just those photos. She says, okay, well then book me. And they can't book her because they don't have anything. That was amazing. I love the fact that Diana said, okay, well, bitch, if you got some hoe, book me. And they couldn't do nothing, right? So, Jenny and Blanca, they're trying to play hardball. So, your family is, y'all on a bar. Those are a lot of dead bodies, Ramirez, the one that your mother had between her legs. I was like, you a raggedy bitch. You mad because you ain't getting no dick? Like, that's what it was given to me when Blanca said that Monet had Ramirez between her legs, right? But before that, they were saying that they noticed she went to Stansfield to be closer to Tariq. She says, Tariq, the boy who was tutoring my cousin. She says, and Blanca like, yes, because he was working with your mother and your brother. Can you prove that is the question? No, you the fuck can't. So just because all black people hang around each other, they got to be dealing with drugs. Okay. Diana didn't ask them at one point, who do y'all want, my mama or Tariq? Because Tariq then went over to the house to tell Monet them about the RICO charge, right? About them wanting to do a RICO. So they, like I said earlier, they mentioned the dead bodies. They mentioned Ramirez, Lorenzo, which they said Lorenzo, your daddy, because that was Blanca that said your father, and she looked like my daddy. What he got to do with this, right? So she mentioned Ramirez, Lorenzo, Zeke, Carrie, Jabari, and even Kevin, right? Now with Kevin, y'all dropped that investigation because it looked as if he broke into the house. So how y'all gonna come back at them and say that they had something that had to deal with the drugs? Now, granted, y'all knew about the file in Davis's office, but y'all don't have that file to know what's in that file. It's still in Davis's office. Sachs never got that file. So scratch off Whitman. Scratch off Carrie. Granted, we all believe that Monet has something to do with Carrie's. Well, hell, she basically said it. Because before she shot Kevin, she said, tell your bitch I said what's up. So we know that. I need a flashback to that scene. How did that happen? I'm still stuck on that season later. How in the hell did Monet unlive Carrie when she was found dangling like a chandelier? Unless Monet threatened that bitch with that gun and said, bitch, get your ass up there and dangle and hang yourself. I'm still stuck on like, how did that fucking happen? I need the backstory on. At some point, the writers have to tell us how that happened or show it to us, because that is something that I'm not gonna ever let go. Is how did Monet do that? Because Carrie was bigger than Monet. Like, I really want to know that one. So yeah, and Zeke was taken out by Lorenzo, which they don't know that. Ramirez was taken out by Kane. Let's just go down the line of all the people. and Ramirez. Cain did that. Lorenzo. Gordo did that under the direction of Monet. Zeke was taken out by Lorenzo. Carrie was taken out by Monet. Jabari was taken out by Cain. And Kevin was taken out by Monet. Jesus the Christ. I said it out loud. They're not, so the thing is, they're not wrong, right? They're not wrong. They are absolutely not wrong about the situation. They're not wrong at all. I just thought about that. They're not wrong about these deaths. Because every last one of them have the Tejadas all over. I mean, every last one of them is a Tejada. It's either Cain or it's either Monet. Like, they're not wrong. They're not wrong. Now, two of them, the Zeke one was not intentional. Zeke's death wasn't intentional. Lorenzo's death was intentional. Ramirez's death, I forget about Ramirez. I forget why Cain took out Ramirez. I really do forget that. But that's neither here nor there. I'm getting off track, you guys. So, we see Cain. So Cain went to go see Effie, and because he said he was going to go over to Stansfield. So we see him when he got to Stansfield, and he was talking to Effie about Diana getting roped up by the feds. And he asked her if she if she knows why this may have happened, right? So she told him that Diana was dealing drugs at the candy store and that, she got caught on camera, right? So then she also questioned Cain about paying her tuition, right? Did you expect anything in return from that? And he said, nah. And we see them as they got it in. And Cain ended up staying the night with her. And the next morning he woke up to a text message from Monet asking where was he at. He told her he was on his way. So then Tariq knocked on the door and said, yo, Effie, can I talk to you? And so she asked Cain, like, Cain, can you go in the bathroom while I holler at him? He's like, you want me to hide from Slim Fit? The fact that he called that nigga Slim Fit was taking me out, right? So Tariq came in telling Effie that, it's hot right now and, what he needs for her to do. He wants to bring her back into the business because they can't move on Wall Street right now. So he wants her help with moving the weight. And this was the moment that I was like, oh, okay. So they're trying to set Effie up to take the fall. So we see as Monet is having a meeting with the Castillos, and I was like, wait a goddamn minute. So y'all don't know about Gordo at this point? Because I was just when the Castillos was sitting with Monet and Drew them, I was like, so ain't nobody gonna mention where Gordo is? Like, nobody's gonna mention Gordo? Nobody. Gordo. He ain't here. So Monet said, they gotta take a step back from business, right? They gotta stop for a couple of days. And she tells them that the feds are involved, but they won't get caught up in it, right? So finally somebody's, their mother asked Drew, we haven't heard from Gordo. Do you know anything about that? And Drew straight up lied, said, nah, I ain't heard from Gordo. I don't know nothing. I ain't heard nothing, but we good. I was like, how y'all good? And you shot and killed your man in cold fucking blood. Oh, Jesus. When he finds out that he shot and killed that boy for no reason because his raggedy ass mama put him up to that, covering her own ass. Somebody made a valid point about Monet about Drew as well. Because y'all killed Gordo's daddy. Y'all killed Uncle Frank. And he took out your daddy. Drew should have looked at it as an eye for a fucking eye. Because full fucking well y'all took his father out. And he took your daddy out. You should have been like, God damn. Well, I miss my poppy, but that's why I can't stand Drew. That's why when we first met Drew, I liked Drew. When Drew got shot in season 1, when Drew got shot at the bar, I was scared that we were going to lose Drew, but now I wish we did lose. Now I'm starting to wish we did lose Drew. I really wish we had lost Drew. So, Cain came back home, and Monet, this bitch has the nastiest spirit around. Because she was mad at Cain, so you don't care about this family, huh? He was like, I was helping the family. She's like, no, you was all out helping your dick in that what did she call it? That scholarship pussy. I was like, lady, 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 sit your ass down somewhere and shut up. So she told him about the Rico, and she's telling him that at this point they're not gonna be moving any product, right? So he said, so does Tariq know about this? Because Tariq was just up at Stansfield talking to Effie about moving weight. She says, yeah, Tariq does know. You better not tell Effie nothing. I was like, oh. So y'all really are trying to set that little bitch up. I mean, I don't have a problem with it because Effie must forget that she's screwed Tariq over countless amount of times, but neither here nor there, right? So she also told him that she's going to get her money back from Weston Holdings because once again, this woman continuously calls this boy stupid. That's what bothers me when it comes to Monet. Monet disrespects the fuck out of Kane and Diana, but she expects loyalty from them. It's like, lady, how do you expect loyalty from these people if you constantly put them down and disrespect them? Now, granted, Diana did put that draw four on your ass when she released the information, when she told y'all, the whole family, that Zeke was your son. The shit was on the table at that point, right? It was nothing that can be done from it. But you blame that little girl for the death of Zeke when it had nothing to do with her. It was your husband's jealousy. You took your fucking husband out and then blame poor Gordo. Bitch, I hope and pray that your death is a slow one and a painful one. I want her to go down in agony. Ooh, I can't stand fucking Monet. I can't stand Monet. You know, I thought Rock from Raising Kanan was a horrible fucking mother. Monet takes the cake. That is one thing about the Power Universe. They got shitty ass mamas. Monet is a shitty mother. Rock is a shitty mother. And so the fuck is Tasha. Yeah, I can say what y'all want to say, but Tasha ain't no better than them other two. At least with Rock, I was about to say, at least Rock it's a weird kind of love. At least Rock loves Kanan. And I mean, although she did want him to take out his creepy ass daddy, at least, oh Jesus, the mothers in the Power Universe are just shitty. So Monet went over to the country club to see Lucas, right? And she basically told Lucas, whenever I call you, your white ass answers. Whenever I ask for my money back, I want it all back and not a penny missing, right? And if I ask you some questions, you gonna answer my motherfucking questions. And you also could use some sunscreen lotion, some sunscreen, because you look a little pink. So Diana, she was talking to Sax, right? And this is the point where she told Sax about she doesn't feel like she can trust Davis, and she doesn't feel that Davis has her best interest at heart. She feels like Davis is more aligned with Monet. So she tells him it's something he needed to know, and that's when he went back and told Jenny them the shit that whatever she told him, right? So Kane called Effie about this business with Tariq, and he's like, are you sure you really want to do that? And she says, if you know something, Kane, then tell me. So Kane had to get off the phone with her because upstairs, Drew is losing his fucking mind at you guys when I tell you I loved every minute of this scene. I cracked the fuck up. So Drew was upstairs destroying his room, just throwing everything around, just tossing shit, right? So Kane come upstairs and like, nigga, what's wrong? So he turns on the TV and we see as Everett is doing an interview with Jamel Hill. And guess what? Everett came out the closet. I was like, I know you fucking lying. So actually, guys, the interesting thing about Everett and Gordo, I found out is both the actors who play Everett and Gordo, they're actually gay. And the interesting thing is the actor who plays Drew is straight. He's actually engaged to a woman. He's getting married soon. I was like, that's really interesting. And I actually do love that with those characters that they showed. They had a representation. I don't know how they are in their real lives, but I liked how they did a different spin on, gay men, because most time when people think of gay men, they think of effeminate men, right? But there are gay men that are masculine, and nothing's wrong with either being masculine or feminine. But I like how Power has done this, right? but I definitely love seeing Drew so upset about Everett coming out on television, and he got a boyfriend, and the boyfriend is white. I was like, ooh, yes, Everett, stick it to that bastard Drew. I don't give a fuck. So Drew left to go to a bar, right? And we see him at the bar. So he's scrolling through Instagram looking at Everett and his boyfriend's post. I'm like, stalkerish? Meanwhile, Everett and his boyfriend are in the corner. Well, not in the corner, but they're on a date. And they kissed. So Everett and his boyfriend were getting ready to leave, and he saw Drew. He said, I thought that was you. So Drew has to make a fucking scene. I'm like, well, oh well. If I really didn't care. So Drew was in his feelings about Everett and his boyfriend, but then he was also in his feelings about what he did to Gordo. And I was like, well, that one is on you, my friend. Speaking of, someone was recording this and it went viral on social media, and the Castillos saw it, and so now they want to have a little conversation with Mr. Drew. I was like, ooh, Drew, that's going to be your ass. That's your ass, Mr. Postman. So Tariq, we see Tariq is at the house, and he told them that everything worked, that the feds bought it, and so with this buys them some more time so that they can find a new distro, right? So Kane says, so you're gonna go after your boy Sax, because at this point he gotta go. You gonna whisk him away like you tried to do with Lauren. So Tariq says, I'm gonna handle it, right? So Effie showed up and she was like, it's really fucked up that y'all left me in the dark. Y'all could have told me something. And Tariq was like, but you're the only one who doesn't really have anything to lose, so we had to do that, right? And so she was like, you know what? I would have did the same thing to y'all too as well, right? So then they left, and Monet told Tariq, like, I need you to get my money back, all of it, and I need my money by Monday from Weston Holdings. So Tariq called Brayden and says, we're running out of time at this point, right? So then we see Diana. So Diana got out of she got released, but her charges at this point are still pending, and there go a bird on my balcony. Son of a, oh God, fly away, bitch. Sorry, you guys. So what were we talking about? I didn't even go edit that out either. What were we talking about? Oh, Diana. She got out the feds, and she told her mama, like, I want out the business. I want out of New York. I want to go down to Spelman. And this rude ass bitch talking about she could slap her upside her head. I was like, girl, I would walk my black ass back into that precinct, tell that bitch Blanca and Jenny it was this raggedy hoe. This hoe had me doing everything. Everything that you can think of is linked to this bitch right here. My mother, Monet Tejada. Like, I would have snitched on that bitch. Don't tell me I'll slap you upside the head. Bitch, try it, and I'm going to have you arrested, you old hoe. Bitch, I swear to God, Monet gets on my fucking nerves. So, Kane and Effie, we see them as they doing the do once again, right? So somebody knocks on the door, talking about they coming there to check a gas leak. And she went to open the door, and guess who was there? Blanca. They're arresting her for the attempted murder of Lauren Baldwin, who is in the truck. There's her window down, and she said, yeah, that's the bitch that tried to kill me. I was like, oh, where there go another draw for? And this person just uno'd out. So they think. But that was the episode, you guys. Damn, this is a long ass review. I didn't expect for this episode to be this review to be as long as it is. But let me know what you guys thought about this episode in the comment section below, you guys. Subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, share the video, and until the next time, you guys, stay safe, take care of yourselves, wash your hands, be blessed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, you guys.